Before the concept of battle passes, before daily rewards, before every game needed 90GB update just to let you open the menu, there was one disc, one controller, one memory card that somehow had everybody's saved game on it, and one game that made a whole generation feel like the world was bigger than their bedroom. That world was GTA San Andreas. It was a whole childhood disguised as crime. The first time you loaded into GTA San Andreas, you didn't even understand what you were stepping into. You thought it was just another game. You thought you were just going to drive cars, run from the police, maybe accidentally punch the wrong person and get chased by half the neighborhood. But then the game loaded, the world opened, the streets had music, the cars had character and attitude, the pedestrians had more confidence than most people, and suddenly you were not just sitting in a room anymore. You were in Los Santos, you were on Grove Street, you were CJ, and even if you were 9 years old and had no idea what the story was really about, you knew one thing, and that is that this game felt illegal to own, and that made it even better. San Andreas was not one of those games that you played quietly. This is the kind of game where the whole room became involved. One person had the controller, 3 people were giving instructions. Somebody was saying go left, go left, go left. Somebody else was saying no, steal that car. Now that one is better. No, that is a very slow car. Why would you steal that one? And one cousin, yeah, there was always that one cousin. That cousin would sit there acting like he was the professional criminal consultant. Like, bro, calm down. I know where the jetpack is. No, no, you didn't. You don't know where it is. Nobody knew where the jetpack was. You heard of it from a friend, who heard of it from his older brother, who probably read of it from a fake cheat code website in 2007. But we believed because San Andreas made anything feel possible. The map wasn't just big, it felt endless. Los Santos felt like home. San Diego felt like you had grown up and moved cities. Las Vegas felt like, well, I think you all know how that felt like. It felt like the game totally put on a sunglasses and said, yo, welcome to trouble. Every area in the game had its own soul. You could start the day eating fast food, end it jumping off a mountain, crash into a police car, steal an ambulance, fail a mission, get a haircut, buy a house, then spend 45 minutes trying to land a plane you had absolutely no license to fly, and somehow none of it felt random. It felt like childhood freedom, the kind of freedom that you only get before bills, jobs, deadlines, and storage full notifications. San Andreas was the only game where you could get full emotional journey in 5 minutes. You start with a serious mission, you tell yourself, oh, this time I'm focusing on this mission and I'm going to get it right. 30 seconds later, you've accidentally hit a pedestrian. Now the police are involved. Now you have stolen a taxi. Now the taxi is on fire. Now you've jumped into the ocean. Now CJ is swimming in jeans. And somehow you have forgotten that mission that you were even doing. And that was the beauty of the game. San Andreas didn't just give you a story. It gave you stories you made yourself. The mission was optional, but the chaos was mandatory. And then there were cheat codes. Those sacred ancient spells. Before Google became the answer to everything, cheat codes were passed down like ancient family recipe. They were written on paper, saved in notebooks, whispered between friends at school like it's some classified government information. Like, bro, I know the code for weapons. I know the code for flying cars. I know the code that makes everybody fight. And you would enter the code with the seriousness of a scientist launching a rocket. Then, boom, just like that, the world changed. Cars flying, pedestrians fighting, CJ carrying enough weapons to invade a small country. And your mom walks in asking you questions like, what are you playing? And of course your immediate reply is to say, nothing, I'm not playing anything. Of course it is nothing, while there's a tank outside the pizza shop. But let's not pretend that San Andreas was only joy. This game hurt us too. It tested us, it broke us, it made children question their purpose in life. Some missions were not missions, they were emotional damage with instructions. You could beat up gangs, escape police, survive the explosions, but then the game would say, here, fly this tiny remote control plane, and suddenly you were fighting for your life. Or does anybody remember that train mission? You know that one train mission that I'm talking about? We don't even need to say too much about that one. The people who know, they know. That mission didn't just make you fail, it made you stare at the screen in silence, contemplating life. It made your cousin say, pass me the controller, and then even fail faster than you did. And somehow, after all the pain, we still came back and tried again, because San Andreas taught us something important, which is basically that sometimes life knocks you down. Sometimes the mission fails, sometimes the train gets away, and sometimes Big Smoke has the nerve to blame you for all this. But underneath all the chaos, the jokes, the police stars, the cheat codes, and the impossible missions, San Andreas had heart. It was about coming home, it was about family, loyalty, betrayal. It was about trying to fix a place that had already been broken before you arrived. As kids, maybe we didn't understand all of that. Maybe we skipped cutscenes because we wanted to drive the fastest car we could find. Maybe we didn't fully understand CJ's pain, Sweet's hunger, Smoke betrayal, and why Grove Street mattered so much. But we felt something. We felt that this world had history. We felt that these characters had weight. We felt that this wasn't just a playground, it was a place. And weirdly, for many of us, it became one of the first open worlds that felt alive. Because the truth is, San Andreas was never really about crime. Not for us at least. It was about those afternoons after school when time didn't move so fast. It was about sitting too close to the TV because the screen was small. It was about memory cards, scratch discs, and controllers with one button that barely worked. It was about cousins, brothers, neighbors, friends. It was about laughing when someone crashed, screaming when the police came, arguing over whose turn it was, and pretending that we were only going to play for 10 minutes. Then somehow looking outside and realizing the sun has disappeared. San Andreas didn't just give us a city, it gave us a place to be young, wild, and free. Every generation has that one game. That game that didn't need perfect graphics. That game that didn't need online seasons. That game that didn't need to remind you to log in every day, but you logged in because you wanted to. Because the world of San Andreas was waiting. Because Grove Street felt like a place you had to return to. And maybe that was why, years later, just seeing CJ on a bike still does something to us. It takes us back. Not just to the game, but to who we were when we played it. Some games entertain you. Some games impress you. Some games disappear the moment you finish them. But GTA San Andreas? The game stayed, and it shaped a lot of us in the music, in the missions, in the jokes, in the cheat codes that some of us still somehow remember. And the game still lives on in a lot of us who have that one feeling we all wish we could get back. You know, that feeling of being young, of holding a controller and believing the whole world was waiting outside Grove Street. So, tell me, was GTA San Andreas the game that raised you? Or was there another game that honed your childhood? Let me know in the comments.